not everybody can say that. So big shout out to those who are still here, those condolences to those that are not. So we are going to be talking about Aston Martin and the things that Lawrence Stroll is striving for when it is coming to this team. Lawrence Stroll is striving for Aston Martin to be a championship fighting team. First in the chat, by the way, is Mary Beanie. Good evening. I see Maria Duncan. What's going on? So I hope all of you are doing well. So yeah, I mean, let's just talk about this for a second. We're not, we don't have to run into it, too long or, go into too in depth. But we are going to go in on Aston Martin and what Lawrence is doing. So as of right now, Aston Martin has been, to me, Aston Martin has been the surprise team of 2023. Like, without a doubt, I think Aston Martin have done a phenomenal job given where they came from, given what maybe some may have thought that they were not going to do, coming into this. I think Aston Martin have done a phenomenal job. Now, we do also know that Aston Martin have fallen a bit short toward the later part of the season. Definitely maybe not where they would like to be at this point in time, but I still do think that where they are is something to be commended given where they came from. So let's first say that. I just want to first give them their props, give Lawrence his props from stepping into that role, for going and pushing this team to become better, for making the necessary moves and changes for the team to become better. I wasn't necessarily very hype about the Alonso acquisition versus Seb, but if you can't have Seb, or Seb doesn't want to be there, and I really did feel some kind of way that Seb was there for the groundwork, the grunt work, and wasn't there to reap any of those benefits, because I honestly do believe that Sebastian Vettel would have achieved what Alonso has achieved. I think 7 podiums, maybe even more. I believe Seb could have done that. If not that, around that. So I don't think that they put themselves in an unnecessarily better situation with Alonso versus Seb. I just think I would have felt a bit better had Seb been there, given that he was there doing the grunt work and the groundwork when Aston Martin were crap. And then they made a very monumental jump in performance to the team that we see now, where Alonso and his driving ability and his talent and his experience were able to acquire 7 podiums. Even though 7 podiums would have been a bit more wowing to me for Seb to do them all that whole time. But Alonso did it. Alonso was able to do the job that Aston Martin needed him to do, and that was be a standard to show them what can an experienced and worthy, talented driver accomplish in our machinery. That's going to tell us, like, where are we for real? Without him there and having an unexperienced driver, especially, think about this. What if Lance was there and no Alonso, no Seb, somebody not even as good as Lance? Right now, Aston Martin would not completely know what their car is capable of. They would think that they don't even have a worthy competitive car. And this is where a driver there's no extent to the damage a driver can do to a team's performance. All right, we saw this with Latifi, and I hope that I'm trying to, translate, get that over right across to you all. But we saw this with Latifi. We're seeing it now with Logan Sargent. Look at that big gap between Logan and what Albon's been able to do. So picture if you had 2 Logans and a Williams, they would be like, well, is it the car? Is it the driver? Well, they know what Albon's been doing. The car's capable of that. It's not the car, it's the driver. What Alonso's been doing, the car is capable of this, and maybe it's capable of that, but we need to work to give it more so we can see where are the limits. Are the limits with the driver or with the car? But with Lance, they wouldn't know. They would be like, oh, well, shit, or is the car underperforming? Is it not right, or is it the driver? Well, now they know, because they have a catalyst, they have a standard on Alonso, that it's Lance. So Also moving forward with Aston Martin, and I really do hope that Aston Martin decide to make changes, and it's going to be very much they have the facility. Okay, they're going to have a very awesome facility. Lawrence Stroll is doing an awesome job with investing in the facility. Okay, for Aston Martin. Also, the engineering, the departments, the heads, the positional people that they need to develop, to engineer, to test, he's doing a good job with the team that he's put in place, to then put those people in place, to then have the processes in place to develop a very competitive car and a competitive team. Okay, he's doing that. Now they've made a very big move, and some would say that this is the last piece. Some would say that this is the puzzle piece to the masterpiece that Aston Martin may indeed create. And that is having the Honda as their power unit supplier, which moves them out of a customer team of Mercedes and will move them into their own works team, giving them the ability to adapt and to mold and to develop free of being constrained by Mercedes' setup. Okay, so that's a very big jump. That's a very big jump, and it's a very awesome thing. It does come with some responsibility. It could put them on the back foot slightly, but given what they'll have the ability to do, they should be able to develop over that course of time and fulfill that and more, hopefully, right? Hopefully go further. But that's not the last puzzle piece. The last puzzle piece is your other driver. And the problem that we're having now is this family relationship, this son and father relationship between Lawrence and Lance is hindering the team. It is handicapping the team. So all of this that Lawrence is doing with the new facilities, great. With the power unit deal with Honda, awesome. But you're doing all of this for naught. You're going to do all of this development. You're going to do all of these acquisitions. You're going to do everything you can for this team to be great, except remove your son from the seat that he is proving he probably does not deserve. How it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul, like, hey, y'all, I'm doing everything I can to put us in a winning situation, but I can't take my son out that seat. You're going to have to. Alonso, unless you're going to build somehow, because they've had some intermingling with Red Bull with the Valkyrie project, which they're going to do in Le Mans, unless somehow they have orchestrated with Red Bull under the books, and if this shit happens, there should be something to be found in that they are going to develop. I don't know what it's going to be, the AMR 24. I don't know what they may call it, but let's just say the AMR 24 right now. That car is going to be a predecessor of the RB19. Alonso will not be able to win Constructors' Championship by himself. It is proven this season that he could not. Many people saw Aston Martin as the better. Think about it. Just not even maybe more than 4 races ago, 4 Grand Prix ago, there was clamor that Mercedes customer teams were doing better than Mercedes with Mercedes parts, and they would not be wrong for saying so. The way it looked, Aston Martin peaked toward the beginning. Now Aston Martin kind of fall because of the situation with the points and the standings and less CFD and all the other good stuff. Now McLaren is peaking now, doing a phenomenal job, especially with Oscar Piastri as a rookie, sprint race, pole positions, podiums. Racer X210 says Lance needs to go, period. Give the seat to a hungry driver and Aston Martin can be contenders. Quote me on that shit. I do think, Racer X, I fully believe in what you just said. I fully believe it. You got Alonso. You need to put somebody else in that seat. Lance is not going to do it. Lance launching his steering wheel, Lance pushing his physio off. What are you surprised about, Lance? There's nothing that you should be surprised about at this point in time. Yeah, maybe it's been building up, but that's a long buildup, bro. That's a long buildup for you to finally be disappointed in the lack of performance that you've been giving Aston Martin. That's crazy. You got another driver on the other side with 7 podiums. At least Perez still has podiums and race wins in the season, where now I know they say it's a significant performance gap between the two, which that could probably be explained with car development, more in the way of Max Verstappen, less than about Perez. Perez performing at the earlier part of the season. Now everything's just off. There's some discrepancies in there that we could debate either or. There are not a lot of discrepancies that we can give up to debate for Lance's performance. He's been down pretty much majority of the season. This is what he is. This is who he is. He's not a rookie. He's not new to the grid. He's not new to a Formula One car. We don't have excuses for Lance. Like we know that the team is not spiting him. We know that the owner, his dad, is not going to put him at a deficit. There are none of these, even if you wanted to call them straw man, tinfoil cap, major, any one of those, we can't give these to Lance. Lance is not afforded any of these things or these debates. He has everything in his favor. A father that is willing to let him have an indefinite contract as a Formula One driver, although he hasn't been performing as such. What are you going to do, Lawrence? Red Bull will cease with their contract with Honda, which is going to be something to pay attention. We got 2 years, 2 seasons, 2025, 2026 come. What's this Ford-built motor going to do? Honda's going to be with Aston Martin. This is why I tell people, like, the whole situation, even with Max Verstappen and running it all up, go back and look at Schumacher's record. Nothing just ran straight through the entire time with all 7 championships that he has. Nothing ran straight through with Lewis Hamilton with all 7 championships that he has. It's not going to happen with Max either. Max is not going to run up 8 titles back to back to back. Mercedes is coming. Aston Martin is coming. McLaren is coming. And if this is the case, and Aston Martin want to find themselves solidly in that fight moving forward every season to eventually even first win a Constructors' Championship by way of having 2 very legitimate drivers, that driver in Lance Stroll has to go. He has to stroll out of the door. You got Felipe Drugovich in the wings. At this point in time, I think it is very criminal that Aston Martin don't even try to have an insurance policy week in and out of these Grand Prix by at least involving Felipe and FP2 so that he has participated in an event within that weekend so that he is eligible for the other events in case they want to take Lance out and put Felipe in. I think it's criminal. I think it's very reckless. I think it's irresponsible given what Lance Stroll has shown you. What are we doing? And it should be an indictment on Lawrence as a team leader. Like, yo, bro, the dude is not that. We were 2nd, 3rd. Constructor Championships, we got beat. We're not even top 3 anymore. Mercedes came back and got us. They developed through the course of this year, and their car was a shit box compared to ours. What are we doing? And it's because the other driver in your son is unable to compete. If Lance had 5 podiums, even 2 less than Alonso, think about where Aston Martin can be. I don't even think Russell at that point in time had 2 podiums. I don't think he's even got 2. So picture that. Lawrence also is holding his team back. Now, the big question is, how long is he going to do it for? How long is he going to allow his son to hold their team back? I mean, if we think about this. If we come into 2024 season, after the off season, DTS comes out. Now we are in testing. First Grand Prix, we come back. Just picture Alonso within the first 3 races getting on podium. Lance, not even top 5. Is there not something to do then? And if y'all tell me no, and if Lawrence says no, his team needs to really look at him and say, I think I got to go. I think I got to go. I think as much potential as this team has, the son and the father relationship are having us fight in a championship boxing match with both hands tied behind our back, not even one hand out. We're trying to stand on Alonso to at least have some respectable finishes so that the entire grid in the Formula One world doesn't say that Aston Martin doesn't even have the potential. But we're not even having the chance because Lawrence can't do the real thing that needs to be done. Great facility, awesome. Power unit deal with Honda, great. But you are leaving us with a subpar driver because of your relationship. Family and business rarely mix well together. Often don't mix well together. I don't want to say rare because there's plenty of family businesses out there that do pretty good. Often don't mix well together. And this may be an example of family and business not mixing well together. Lawrence, what would Lawrence do if that driver was not his son? What would Lawrence say to this driver? Y'all don't think he would be ready to replace him? I think so. And if he wouldn't, then that truly says he definitely is not team leader material. But I don't think if that driver's name is not Lance Stroll, he has this much runway to be effing up, to have F races, as I'm going to call them, F races. I don't think so. And this is what we're going to see with the test of time. Now, I know there have been all kinds of rumors out there, and Lawrence thinking about or supposedly selling the team. And yeah, I don't know about that. None of that has been validated. He hasn't came out and said that he is. I don't think he is. I don't think somebody like Lawrence at this point in time, even if he is a VC, right, and he's looking to make money off of this, build it up and sell it off, I think right now it's not at a point where somebody's like, I think they're like, oh, yeah, there's potential there, but, let's wait a little longer. I don't think you initially come in, don't enjoy or see the fruits of the new factory and technology that you were putting together. I don't think that you lead this early knowing that you're about to have the power unit deal with Honda coming in to see what that's going to be like. I believe you want all of those things to be under your reign, especially in the event that they lead to very good standings in racing, especially if it's possible that you under your reign is a constructors championship. Now, they do better. Let's say they finish second. Later on, and maybe 2025 comes, they've at least finished second, constructor championships. Both drivers have several podiums. Maybe then if he's all about business and just wanting to sell the team off as it seems like it might be at a height and there's still enough headroom to take it even further, maybe then. But I don't think right now. I don't think he looks to sell this team right now. No, there's too much going on for him to be able to claim. Too much glory out there for him to possibly be able to have under his reign. But if he wants more of that glory and he wants it to actually happen, he's going to have to sit his son down up out of there. He's going to have to move in the reserve. Derwin Hill says hopefully Perez could take Lance's seat. If they have Perez, that would be an upgrade. Uno says Lawrence better start seeing his son is done. He needs to, bro. He really, really, really needs to. I can't even say that enough. He really, really needs to. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what they're going to do moving forward. Hopefully Lawrence will do the things that definitely need to be done. And outside of that, nobody could listen. Lawrence seems like a very headstrong person. I don't doubt that for him to do what he has done. I credit him for that. But I guess we all have chinks in our armor, and his son is the chink in his armor. So, I guess we'll just wait and see what happens. But, I don't care how much launching of the steering wheel this guy does. I didn't believe him. I don't believe Lance is all of a sudden just, my performance. Bro, you've been subpar this whole time. Whatever it is that you personally got going on that came out in the fashion of this, I don't even think it really had nothing to do with your performance and your driving, because you've been subpar all damn season and you've been honky-dory about it. So, now if you want to save face and try to act like you really mad about something, okay, I guess. Show us in performance. Have your ass in the sim. Have your ass out there. Have you doing something that's going to show us that you really trying to come up. But the truth may be very well that this is who he is and this is the best that he can be. He is elite, but he will not be an Alonso. He will not be a Seb. He will not be a Max Verstappen. He might not even be he's not even a Perez. He's not even a Perez. He's not even an Oscar Piastri as a rookie. Think about that. He's not even that. So does a driver of Lance's caliber deserve to be in a car of that potential? I don't think so. Put a driver that can do something for you in that car, because he's not doing anything for them. Not one damn thing. Not one. So, not when it comes to aiding and contributing toward constructor points or even driver championship points, really, for that matter. He's got no podiums. None. Not one. The other driver has 7. It's possible. He just can't do it. He just hasn't done it. And at the end of the season, if he doesn't do it, then I can say he can't do it because he didn't do it. So right now I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt by not capping off maybe his potential and say he hasn't done it yet, while the other driver has. Even through a turmoil time, Alonso came out on the other side of that rough patch that we saw Aston Martin dip, and he still collected one more podium to make the 7th one this season. Oh, I guess it's time to go, but we'll see when they sing that song. We'll see what's up. Uno, twins, souls on making you can't even say my chat. Lawrence better start seeing his son is done. Twins, SOZ on making you can't even say my chat. Man, what the hell Uno talking about, man? What the hell Uno talking about? But hey, we will get into this further. Also, this weekend, yo, we are going to have, I believe this weekend we will have Wolfpack Epic Grudge Racing on this channel. So although Formula One won't be racing, we will be racing. We will have a race as a family for the little one, but that will be Saturday. I don't think they're changing anything. So Sunday we will be here. At 11, free practice will start. So make sure you're there if you want a free practice. That's where I'm going to pick the 4 cars with the livery to go into the best livery of all for the OSQ and then the Grand Prix. And then at 11:30, we'll begin to go live for the actual quali and the race. So if you're going to free practice, make sure you're ready. I'm going to send out those invites by 11. And then by 11:30, we're going to be trying to go into the Grand Prix and the race. So you can send me a friend request or a request on EA's platform at Wolfpack F1. And once I check for those requests coming Saturday night, then I will go ahead and accept your request and start sending out invites that Sunday morning when we get ready to start racing. So big shout out to everybody. Peace and love. Don't forget, check out the new the podium shirts on the website. Also, I'm going to have about 4 goodie bags, swag pack bags with me when I'm out at COTA to hand out to some while I'm at an event. So it will be limited. There will only be 4. So if you're there, definitely hit up with me at an event. I will be announcing more details on that soon. A big shout out to everybody. Y'all be safe. I will see you all soon. We will be live again this week as we always are. Peace and love. Wolfpack out.